Awesome. Thank you so much, Himanshu, for joining us in today's episode. And we are really excited to have you here with us and the world to hear about your story and about your vision and mission that you're trying to achieve with Cograd. And मुझे पर्सनली काफ़ी अच्छा लगा आपका आइडिया अपनी जो परस्यू करना चाह रहे हैं लाइक इन रूरल स्कूल्स particularly if I'm not wrong and with technology you're making them more technologically enabled so yeah if you can just introduce yourself.
Okay, sure. So, thanks for hosting me on this particular podcast.
My pleasure.
Introducing myself, I am Himanshu, and I majorly work to create most affordable schools of India, in which technology is being taught with the help of technology. So, Cograd is a complete concept that stands for connecting grads. So, we are a network of individuals who want to contribute to the society, and we have chosen technology as an implementing factor for us, or it's an enabling factor. So, we hail from tier 3 cities. Most of our team hails from tier 3 cities, and 70% of our team members are from Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. So, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya are like flagship scheme of Government of India to cater or to empower bright students from rural India specifically, or from marginalized background. So we have been through that particular journey. Our education has been completely funded by government or by public money, you can say. So when we graduated from our colleges, we saw there was a huge gap between the quality that is being delivered to rural students versus the quality that is being delivered to urban students. And talking about urban, the premium urban schools, what we can say.
Yeah.
So there was a good demand by rural people to have quality schools within their villages. But the major challenge was like the availability of a quality teacher and the technology part. Because just giving them the education was not sufficient. They are already lagging behind, and if we are trying to put the traditional education to them, then it is not going to help. So we created a concept of modern futuristic tech school, that is the Cograd school. So what we do is special in Cograd school. Cograd schools have traditional education, plus we also teach them about aero modeling, robotics, AI, 3D printing, whatsoever the emerging technologies are there. We have created a complete syllabus, 6 to 12 class syllabus to teach those emerging technologies, like we are teaching in the math, science, English and all.
Yeah.
So it's on the basis. And talking about as the concept came in 2021, so NEP has recently launched. So we have created all our teacher training or teacher onboarding process as per the NEP guidelines. So we focus on experiential learning. In our schools, you will find out there are open science parks. There are VR labs. There are 3D labs. So in which students generally interact a lot. They learn from their peers, from their teachers, from their environment. And last year, we did a project with IIT Delhi and Department of Science and Technology, where we trained such 20,000 students on these emerging technologies across Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand and all. And you will be surprised that some of those students participated in Tech Fest at IIT Bombay. And they secured good position in the school student group. That was like overwhelming for us even. These students who have been given like technology for the first time, or they are just being introduced to robotics, AI and all, and they are competing at such a good level. So I don't think that there is any like barrier to teach technology to any students, be it urban, be it rural, or be it coming from any geography. So that was a key enabler for us, and it was a very well supported like concept. Talking about like various challenges that we have faced, so we built various solutions for them. Like we were facing a challenge about English teacher in rural areas, so we built a complete AI. The AI is named as Mera, and Mera is now a complete teacher assistive AI. It is India's first teacher assistive AI that is completely built for teachers. So teacher can do lesson planning, assessment, assignment, building, quiz building, they can also track the growth of their students, how they are progressing. So in that sense, we have built a complete school model, or what we can say, the futuristic school that is required. Uh, and like the we are on the journey to make more. Currently, we have 16 schools as such, and
That's great.
we recently partnered with the government of Uttarakhand to
Mhm.
like our their schools. We have also worked with the Department of Education, Delhi government. We have also worked with the Ministry of Social Welfare of Uttar Pradesh, just to empower those schools. So it was like the journey is going good, and it seems we are going in the right direction.
That sounds so inspirational and great. I mean, really at a loss of words for the things that you've done so far. But I have a lot of questions out of curiosity, like when you were telling me about your journey and your schools. So when you say your schools, like you have 16 schools, what do you mean by that? Do you mean that these are your own schools, or are these existing government schools that you have partnered with in order to make them your own? How did you like build your schools? Like how does it
Okay.
work?
So how Cograd works? There are, as per Times of India report, there are 20,000 schools that closed down in past 2 years.
Okay.
So the building is available,
Okay.
the recognition is available, everything as per school guidelines is available in those particular rural areas. So we find out such buildings. We ask, like, talk to the owner. We rent them out or lease them out for a longer time, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatsoever the owner is comfortable in. Then we run the school from scratch. So we just get the building, some basic infrastructure from it. Our input in that particular school is number one, providing the technical infrastructure, uh, like hiring of the teachers, staff, and all, training them all, doing the marketing of that particular school, because every school has a recognized name. And so suppose there's one school that is Suresh International School in Itawa. So we
Okay.
got that particular school. So the name is going to be same, Suresh International School, but it is going to be converted as the co-grade school also in that
Okay.
particular. So this was our core model in which we do all R&D. We have built different sort of applications like Mera Bacha app. It's a tracking app for a student that is given to parents. Then there's a teacher tracking app. So we built everything for us. And talking about the governments, we whatsoever we build for ourselves, we give it to the government, or we partner with the government with their schools to implement the same. So suppose some government requires AI. AI is like booming thing. Ameda assistance is required. As NEP has rolled out, National Curriculum Framework 2023 has rolled out. So it is very difficult for a teacher to understand them and implement the same. And in the
Mhm.
technology is booming, so we are utilizing AI uh,
Right.
to like empower them. So in this particular methodology, we work. So while I'm saying about these are our schools, so like these are completely partnered or rented out by Cograd.
Okay. Another question, mm, like I can't help but stop thinking about the business element of this plan, right? So, uh, like when you say you're building your schools, you're taking them out, like you're renting them out for lease or something. How are you able to do that? Like it must be an expensive affair, right? Like what's your revenue model? Like what's your business model?
Yeah,
Or are you just like socially funded and it's a social venture, like that is like a more of a
yeah,
passion
social,
effort.
yeah. So I got you. We are a social venture, but we are a for profit. We are not an NGO or
Okay. So
section.
people like kids pay their fees, school fees.
Yeah,
So it's a
but
private school.
you would be amazed that they are one of the most affordable schools, because our monthly fees is only 500 rupees. In
How are you able
500,
to manage that?
so I'm sharing you the revenue model, how we work.
Okay.
So it's totally a number game. Uh,
Okay.
each the school that we take up has a capacity of 2,000 students at a time.
All right.
They, and like cater to 2,000 students. In the beginning year, we reach out to some 250 to 300 students and we charge 500 rupees. So for 250 students, the revenue is something around 1,25,000.
Yeah.
And in rural areas, the salary of teacher is as low as 2,000 rupees a month.
Are you serious?
I am very serious. I have even seen 800 rupees a month. So what we offer to our teachers?
Yeah. So what do you offer? That's an interesting.
So what we offer to our teachers is a bare minimum salary of 10,000. 8,000 to 10,000. 8,000 for the very beginning, or 10,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
And we harness the power of Navodaya network. So Navodaya has an alumni network of something 15 lakh alumni all over the world. And most of them hail from rural areas. So we get quality teachers out of there. Students who have just completed their B.Ed or who are looking for jobs or who are preparing for a competitive exam, we mostly hire such teachers along with some teachers who are very well experienced in their career.
Okay.
So we offer a salary of 10,000 to 20,000 rupees. And we need 11 teachers in the starting. So our salary structure goes to almost 1,50,000 rupees monthly. Right? It's 25,000 rupees negative that we have to pay from our pockets. And other operational expenditures are met by the different fees, exam fees and all. They are met by things. So this 25,000 rupee component we have to manage. Other than that, whatsoever technical infrastructure that we are providing, like be it smart boards or projectors, 3D printers, or
that's a one-time effort.
That's a one-time effort, and it costs something around 10 to 12 lakh rupees at a time.
Okay, the setup.
So in the first year, whenever we cater to 250 students, we teach them thoroughly. We fund the schools from our funds. Next year, generally doubles up. So a student would be something around 400 to 500. And we have to pay the same cost. Now, the things can start to return back. And once the students are 750 plus, and 750 plus students, we can support another school.
So you start making profit then.
So yeah, so we just make a school profitable, get out some funds, support another school, make it profitable, and support another school. There are some individual level investors also interested for social funding. They generally do not go for very high margin profits, but people are funding. Suppose you are coming from a village and you want to have a school in your village, and I ask you, Sama, you are doing well in your life and you want to invest. So I ask you to invest 15 lakh, 20 lakh in our school. And we have such people who have invested in those schools. And once the money comes back with a certain interest rate, we return it to them. So it's mostly community funded project. And generally we bootstrap a lot. So as we have one of the best infrastructure available in those village areas, so we go for a lot of government schemes or NGO schemes that want to work in those village areas, implement the same, get some revenue from them, and on that particular basis, currently we have. That's why it's 3 years and we are to 16 schools.
Right. So, but what I've been able to understand, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just thinking out loud. So you're working on a COCO model, which is company owned and company operated, right? Yeah. So, but would it not make sense, eventually, of course, I'm sure you must have think of it, that you make it a franchisee and scale up things nationally at least, and
yeah, definitely we would be
franchisee owned but company operated, or company owned or franchisee operated, because you can't get the 100% control also to the franchisee, right? Yeah. Otherwise they'll scope the quality that you were standing for.
I totally agree with you. And what we do in future, we are currently for the 3 years, we are no one from our team comes from an school learning background. So whatsoever we learned in our schools or while working with different schools, we have learned a lot. Now we have a good team of various academic experts, various school managers, and now we are building the SOPs for how to run a good school. And later on, our model is very simple. Cograd will be giving one member to a school, like Bahubali kind of stuff. And that Bahubali is going to manage all the things or implement the SOPs in that particular school. It is going to be franchisee based. We would be opening some of our schools just for our interest, and but mostly it is going to be in a franchise.
Correct. But so I've had some friends who have worked. I'm pretty sure you've heard the name of Teach for India, right? So Teach for India, they don't have their own schools, but they have a similar interest when it comes to teaching, like Cograd has, and like they use their own teachers, like, and those teachers are generally fresh graduates, like B.Ed and or B.Tech or like just bachelor students, and they utilize them at the rate of, like you said, 15 to 20,000 rupees per month of salary, and they have a very vast network. But what they lack, in what I can see with your school, is the technology aspect and the quality of like infrastructure, because they rely on government schools. Like whatever they provide, they have to do it. So what if you partner with someone like Teach for India, because they already have a network of schools? What you will be like responsible for will be bringing in the infrastructure on a mass level. Let's say if they are catering to 1,000, 2,000, or 10,000 schools, I don't know the number, I'm just thinking out loud. So if they're catering to that number, you will exponentially have to scale up to that. To scale up to that level, you will need funds. Like you said, 10 lakh or 10 to 12 lakh per school. So let's say that it's like probably like 100 or 1,000 schools for easy maths. I think it will be not like 10 schools will be 1.2, like 100 would be 10 to 12 crores and 1,000 would be 120 crores, right? So how, like if you were to be presented with such an opportunity, because your model is scalable, your vision is scalable, your mission is scalable, how would you cater to that? Because you have a lot of small investors on your side. But when it comes to big investment, have you ever thought about that? Like,
we have thought and we have worked on it a lot. Like TDFI has a different sort of model, or what we can say in the social impact sector, mostly people rely on donors fund.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of CSR there, and they are doing very well. Our thinking is very, or we can say slightly different from them. We majorly go for the community funds, because when the people are paying for it, they are asking you questions about it. So if I give a free education to any students, then his father or mother is never going to come to me and ask, like, what have you taught to my children? But he's paying even 100 rupees, then he can ask, like, with full authority to you, what you have delivered to my ward or not. So in that model we go. Teach for India definitely can be a partner. Generally, they provide the teachers to government schools, and they are well qualified teachers. And
100%. I've had some personal friends who have been teachers there, and I know their qualifications and their aptitude. So I know for a fact that teachers are really, really good.
And really good. And definitely we can collab, because past 3 years we were making our model strong. Now we are expanding a bit. Our partnership with Uttarakhand, we have given some of our SOPs and some of our technologies to them. Now we are talking with another government, and they have some 100 plus schools in the state. And we would be building, like we would be implementing the same model in the 100 schools. So they are struggling a lot to run the school, because it's not their job. It's a completely different department. So the things are very complicated if you see on the ground. And after NEP and NCF has launched, so even government or private schools, they have to revamp the complete education infrastructure. and everyone is struggling with the same. Um, we have got some advantage because we are the first movers. We have built the things on the same guidelines that government has provided. So it's going good. Uh, we have like some targeted partners that we have. Ajim Premji Foundation is doing good in like training the teachers. Talking about Teach for India is there that is doing impactful work. We have also worked with NESCOM Foundation to promote the education. Smile Foundation is also like in our conversation that we are going to implement something for them. So we usually partner with a lot of NGOs because they are the only agencies that are working very closely either with the government schools or with some underprivileged schools or in some underprivileged area. And that is our core focusing. So it's a collaborative process.
Got it.
But a lot in collaboration, be it IITs and ITs or triple ITs. We have collaborations with them. And same with the NGOs and all. So it's a collaborative thing.
Okay. So my next question would be, like, you told me your business about your business model that you charge like around 500 rupees per month per student outside of like miscellaneous and charges that you charge for exam fees and everything. And at 750 students, you have a break even. So if like on an average, how much like percentage of profit, like if let's say someone was to invest an X amount in your school, a micro investor, let's say like an individual contributor, and like he's only funding she's only funding one school, right? So how much return on investment can they expect from Cograd over a period of how many years?
Okay, over a period of like you can say over a period of 5 years, return of 50 to 80% could be expected from our school.
All right. So let's say they invest like 20 lakh with you, but they can easily get 30 to 35 lakhs out of it after the end of the term, which is basically profit sharing. It's not interest per se, it's because they're investing in the profit.
It's a profit share.
It's a profit sharing, right? Makes sense. And outside of that, because you spoke about like you created an AI agent for like teachers to get help with their curriculum creation and teaching the students. Do you think you would also venture into homeschooling? Like, would you venture into AI for homeschooling? Like, you create an AI model where kids can learn from their comfort of their home.
No, we are very against of removing the classroom thing from the schools because education is not about just delivering of the knowledge. It is about building of a human being. And in a class, we just not get the knowledge. We interact with our peers. We interact with teachers. We understand what discipline is, how we should talk, how we should sit.
Yeah.
Like what's the way of life. Our creativity develops there. A lot of kinesthetic learning is there. So we have a approach of multiple intelligences. So there are 9 types of intelligences in a human being. And we have the same approach towards education. And it cannot be, like it is not possible beside any classroom-based or school-based education. And they would be missing a lot while teaching kids at home. Because our kids need a special kind of focus. And as we drop down the number of stakeholders in that ecosystem, then it's going to be difficult because if the variables are less and if any variable, suppose, does anything wrong, then there is going to be a harsh impact.
Understood. And do you think the education can be decentralized? Like not in terms of homeschooling, but in terms of small clusters. Like let's say that the teacher is the school. Like the teacher is taking the school with her, gathering a couple of students in a decentralized location rather than having all the school infrastructure behind it. And then they are the school representative, and then we have an open classroom like some sort of modern Gurukul, like it used to be like an open like learning center?
So if you have read or if you have been through National Education Policy 2023 or National
No, I'm
Curriculum
not. If
Framework.
you could just inform us about that, that would be great.
So 2023, we have got new curriculum framework, and every book is going to change. I'll just let you know, there is one area of cross-cutting themes. So what they are talking about, they have given a lot of freedom to students while selecting subjects, while selecting the method of learning. They have given a lot of freedom to teacher regarding the delivery of the content, regarding the assessments. So now, earlier, it was a unidimensional assessment thing. All of us has written the exam sheets and teacher has assessed on the same. Now it is very holistic based. The report card is not going to be just one page. It is now, I've seen a 32-page report card, which everything is there. I don't know how teacher are going to fill it, but as per
Yeah,
it is
I really
called,
think I really think technology needs to help. Like,
yeah, technology is
my,
implement.
but from like when I was in school, there was no technology there. Like teachers had to manually write the grades. So, and this one time, so my mother is sort of a teacher. Like she teaches some people locally as about like Islamic studies. So she has those exams in place. So she was like marking up the questions that the first students had like filled in. So what happened was like she like marked like a 10 out of like 12 or something like that, and then said that individually per question. But when we had to sit down and calculate the entirety of the marks, it's such a difficult task because you need to keep a check of each question. If you miss a question, you make the wrong marks. And even if you use a calculator, you could be wrong because you can miss a number. So you need to recheck it multiple times. So in that moment, I was just like, why is there not a software for this? So that you can, like a CRM for teachers, so that you can just enroll and just get accumulated somehow. Or it could be done through Excel sheet also, but something that's easier to use, like already in place with functions and formulas, so that you just need to enter the marks.
Yeah, we have like eased up teachers' life as much as possible. But talking about we were on LCF, so there's cross-cutting themes. They are now including. You can now, if suppose I am from Farrukhabad, Uttar Pradesh, I have some local things that can be included in the education because we are coming from a culture. So teachers are now encouraged to include those in
Right.
whatever they are teaching. So it is getting as decentralized as possible. We are working in Uttarakhand. They are talking about our AI Mera. So we have done the demographic tagging to them. So we are feeding it with a lot of demography based what circumstances or case studies that would be taught to a student, or how the language is getting tailored, what is their understanding or what is their level of understanding, or what are the examples that should be given to a student as per their language, culture, beliefs, and what. So, um, so it is getting decentralized at that particular level. Uh, there's a lot of freedom in the upcoming segment. Policy-wise, it is not implemented yet.
Yeah.
But talking about, I have been through all previous policies. It is good. It is the need of the hour. And I've been to some schools as well that are currently implementing the same. And they are doing fantastically well. I think there would be good news for the future students.
Yeah.
More collaborative environment, more supportive environment in this.
So that's great. And what about like one question that was coming into my mind was that like these kids in rural areas, do they not have a language barrier? Like, do they like what language are you teaching them in? Like, because I am just assuming that not everyone is highly comfortable with English, right? But that does not mean that they don't need to understand technology. You can understand technology in Hindi also. So technology is not language. Like there's no language barrier in AI. as such today, the way it has advanced. It understands Hindi or it understands any other language. Maybe not dialects, but larger language models it understands. So how are you teaching it?
So the main work of our team is the same. We have to just narrow down the content at the level of a sixth grader. So suppose I want to teach about AI to a sixth grader. I just like I don't need to teach him or her about LLMs. ये LLM होता है, आपको ये पढ़ना पड़ेगा. This is neural network. I'll simply start. How do you think?
Right.
What is natural intelligence? Suppose I ask you to do not think about a white color crow.
The first thing that comes into my mind is that
Is a white color crow. It doesn't exist. But
Yeah.
how it is working? Your brain got a picture of a crow, picture of white, merged it, created something new. In that sense, it is working. So on the story based thing, then start with block coding. This is simple scratch. You can put up some blocks and it will work like this. Then later on, give them a basic understanding how n-gram models are working. So starting with the bigram model. Suppose what should come next to this? What should come next to this? What should come next to this? Then trigram model. Then,
but in what language?
Pardon?
In what language are you teaching these kids?
In the general language, like if you are coming from a village background, then I will be in very basic Hindi.
Okay.
Books are in general English, then the delivery is general. So, as per recent research, the most understandable language is our dream language, in which we see dreams.
Okay.
So, generally, we see dreams in the local native language. I see dreams in Hindi or the language that is being like used in Farooqabad or my native.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. Like your natural language is the language that you dream in. Because until now I've heard your like what language you're thinking. Like if you think in English or you think in Hindi, so that is your natural like comfortable language. But like it put in different perspective. Like now I was just thinking, what language do I dream in?
That's the thinking happens in bits and parts, actually.
Yeah.
I think something, then think something, then I collab everything. Dream is a movie.
Yeah,
Everything is happening in that movie.
Yeah.
So whatever movie I enjoy, even we can say,
Yeah.
which kind of movie do you enjoy most?
Yeah.
So in that particular sense, we generally, so while I was at the event, I also said like we go for Saral, Spast and Saras. So it should be very simple. It should be clear and it should be joyful. So we keep our content or whatsoever we make. And
There's a rule on copywriting also in marketing that it should be clear, not clever. So
Yeah.
it's very important to be clearer rather than clever.
Yeah.
Because people get lost in being clever. Like they'll use big words, they'll use jargons, and the other person does not understand. Like the whole point of communication is to communicate what you mean. And if you can do it without words, you can do it without words. You can do it with an expression, but you don't have to make it more complicated by like just including words that people don't understand just to seem more clever. Unless you like to teach someone a vocabulary. Like if you want them to know that word, you can teach them about that. But you don't have to put them down choosing your vocabulary. Vocabulary can be very powerful.
And we use the same concept by building Mera. Because earlier we built it in English and Hindi and some other native languages. But when we went to village on like on-site deployment of it, we saw most of the people are talking in WhatsApp language. There's a mixed English, there's a mixed Hindi.
You know,
So
like
we trained
English language.
the English thing. Trained it and as of now, almost 80% of the queries are in English language. So it was an eye-opening for us. So, like, keep it very crystal clear things and very simple things for them.
So, have you heard about the company Educom?
Educom, yeah, I was in a school when it was launched.
Yeah. So, it used to be a smart board, right? Remember? But it did not work very well. So, at that point of time, so it like had to, it like couldn't scale up as much as it could have, like, because we were also introduced to smart boards. We never used it outside of once or twice. It was just
Yeah,
a technology that the school has to answer more seats. Like, we are technologically able school. We were not using technology. Teachers were only teaching. The smart board had no use in that like whole journey. So, uh, like, do you think the time has changed now? Like, people are more accepting of technology now, and students will be asking, like, we need this. So the schools will have to adapt to the kind of infrastructure that you're bringing into school. And outside of that, like, can you productize the setup? Like, you as Cograd, can you productize the setup that even private schools can purchase from you and implement it in their own schools and like do work with their own teachers?
yes, there is a huge need of productizing because what has thing in a teacher's perspective. Earlier, he or she was teaching on a green board or the black board. Okay, you just replace it with a screen.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to make a PowerPoint presentation or how to get things or how to get animations or how to look for a video. Even they do not have time. They are like,
Yeah.
you said your mother is a teacher. He's like, she's going to be very, it's a hectic schedule.
Yeah.
So they don't have time. So first of thing is we have to save their time.
Yeah.
And for that, we have to make a very good products out of it. So even in Medha, we have given them simple voice searches. Suppose your mother makes lesson plans. So she has to simply say, I want to teach about nutrition and plant to class 6. And as per NEP says, I want to build them about teamwork and capabilities in them. Then the lesson plan is going to be made in the same direction in fraction of seconds. Earlier, it was going to take some 2 hours kind of stuff. The AI will do all the research, find out the relevant videos, find out the relevant pictures, make a complete presentation out of it. Then there is a smart board on which it is going to be utilized. And there was a pen only and teacher was writing.
Yeah. That's no better than a blackboard, right? It's just an anti-chalk blackboard that you don't have to dust off. So, but yeah, I think it'll only work best with an integrated model, like from the AI to the presentation to the execution part. It has to be in like one place. It can't be all over. So, like the setup that you said that would cost you for your own schools 10 to 12. How, like, is it all technology setup that you were talking about 10 to 12? That's for like seats and tables and chairs also.
No, it was technology setup. Seats are all majorly seats are available there. It was a school, it was running and it got shut down. Most of the things are available.
Why do schools get shut down? Like, what is the reason for schools getting shut down?
Major reason is simple. Suppose you do well in life, you are coming from a rural background, you are a doctor or someone engineer. What the first thing that you will do, either you will open up a hospital or you will open up a school. In major cases, it's a school. You are not a school running expert, but you invested 2-3 crore rupees in your village to create a school. For the initial 1-2 years, you also support it for the operational expenditure, but how long you can support the same? But in most cases, the person is not capable of running the school. And in rural areas, they also do not get quality teachers.
Okay.
They suffer a lot with like a QNC. Then they have to shut down the school. There is no other option. And a school building generally cannot be used for any other purposes. It's designed in such a
Fun fact: recently, my like a friend of mine, like a business friend of mine, bought a school in Rajasthan, turned it into a hotel, and
yeah, it would be built in such a way that it could be turned into a hotel.
yeah,
Otherwise,
turned it into a hotel, and then running it now as a hotel.
it could happen because the rooms are big. Yeah, it's 20 by 20 rooms, 20 by 30 rooms.
Do rooms like schools have some standardized metrics that they need to meet? Like a classroom needs to be this big. So, like, are there metrics for this?
Everything is standardized. If you are going for state boards, they have their standard guidelines. If you are going for CPSC, they have their guidelines. ICSC, they have their guidelines. Like our school needs some 7 bigha area, some sort of. But the challenge with the rural schools, they can only turn their school into storage houses.
Okay.
And it will devalue the building more fast.
Yeah, 100%.
So generally they shut down the schools.
So, but my original question was, I like got off topic. How much would you sell this setup for to a private school?
Generally, we do a almost at 15 lakh, 20% margin. We do.
Okay. And how many people like students can it cater to?
It can cater to easily 500 students.
Okay. So if there were 1,000 students, we'll have to buy 2 packages.
Depends on the utilization of the stuff. It depends. Like we have our school digitalization program starting from 5 lakh. So
Okay.
the population should be a bit based, I think. Most of the schools, India has like some 15 lakh schools, and I think only 10,000 schools would be very premium schools. Otherwise,
Right.
most of the schools are like dealing with middle class or upper middle class. So in that sense, small investments are encouraged from our end. So like in the first tranche, you can go for the 5 to 10 lakh rupees. Then in the next tranche, do good because you would be getting results out.
Right. Makes sense. But so I think we covered a lot of Cograd journey. What I would like to know about what next would be, where do you see yourself? Like is this going to be a venture that you work on for the next 10 years? Or is it a stepping stone for you where you like, which will help you go somewhere you want to eventually?
Generally, like we are not stick to any particular idea. We have pivoted a lot. The key goal is simple. We generally do anything that is related to education, that is innovative in nature, and that is affordable. So these 3 criteria, whenever they fill out for any activity or any sort of business, we do it. Talking about the future, like currently we are seeing ourselves as running 5,000 of our own schools or the rented schools in next 10 years. Along with that, impacting more than 1 lakh schools across India, majorly government ones,
All right.
and some of the government aided or the private sector. There is also one more exploration that we are currently doing. It is a PPP based schools, public-private partnership-based schools that government is providing building financial assistance and some private player is running. So
Wonderful.
these are the 3 models on which we are building things for.
But largely you're looking at 5,000 schools of your own, which you are currently at 16 in the next 10 years, and impacting 1 lakh schools across, like with majorly government schools across the country. So that is the number that you're looking for yourself. So it's safe to say that you look at yourself working on Cograd for the next decade.
Yeah, I could see like my whole life working on code. We are not
100.
that what you can say exit-based startups. Like
Got
people
it.
would be making it big, then doing an IPO and exiting for all that. That's why we are not very investor-centric model. It's like micro investors are there, definitely. They are all our social investors. In this particular decade, you will be seeing a lot of investors that are impacting for social impact. Because most of the investment, like suppose I am investing in 20 startups, 18 or 19 are going to be paid. Only one is going to give the returns.
Yeah.
While if you invest in a social initiative, at least your money is getting secured. You would be at least getting whatsoever you have invested. Along with that, you will be getting a satisfaction that it is like utilized for the good of the public.
Understood. Understood. And how many people are there in your senior management team apart from you? Like
So
who are the key
that
players?
who are the key
Players like in your team? Like how many key players are there who are running
in the
the
market
whole show? Oh, no, in your
in
team.
our team? Okay.
Yeah.
So in our team, there are two co-founders, I and Saurabh are there. Other than us, there is a like execution team of 8 people. They deal with
Okay.
different sort of stuffs, academic, technology, and all. There is a technical team of 10 people. There's an academic team of 5 people. So, like counting all the teachers and everyone, even drivers, staff members, everyone are in our team. So, counting them, they are like some 200 plus people that are working in Cograd. And while we are working with any government project or all, it goes up to 400, 500 people at a time. Those who are working like
All right. And so what are you responsible for in your team?
majorly, I am responsible for the execution part, ideation part. So we generally overlook at the things, try to how we can make it more lean, more like sustainable, and implement the same. So currently, I am in the firefighting phase as well. So
And
I do a lot of firefighting. Everyone does a lot of firefighting in the like basic initial years of your business.
yeah,
So
100%.
as of now, in the past 3 years, we have built a lot. So we are at good stage.
And like, are you able to draw, like you and Saurabh being the co-founders, are you able to draw a salary out of this venture, or are you just not taking the salary and doing it for the social cause?
No, we are drawing some basic salaries out of it because most of our expenditure are getting managed by it. So we are drawing good salary.
Um,
Like that's why we created a for-profit.
Yeah, then exactly. So that's a very smart move, because I know a few people who started with a not for profit venture, and the biggest challenge that they were facing was that nobody else was supporting their venture, and they were not able to support it themselves because they were not earning any good money out of it, and they had to close down. So that's a very smart move. I don't think earning money is a bad thing. So
There, no.
just because you're a social startup or social venture does not mean that you do not need to earn. You need to earn so that you can support your own social startup, if nothing else. Yeah, and you just need to do it in a way that is more affordable, like you said, and uh, accessible and like doable. Like, it's most important. I am very for the motion of the way that you're executing your business plan, and I truly like see a lot of um, potential in this particular idea. And I think you're underplaying, like when you say 5,000 schools in the next 10 years, because after a point, so it will become an exponential growth. You just need one big win, and then it will just like shoot up. This is what people don't understand about exponential growth. जब तक चल रहा होता है कि 2 का 4 हुआ, 4 का 8 हुआ, फिर 8 का 16 हुआ, फिर 32 हुआ, लेकिन जब यही एक्सपोनेंट पहुंच जाता है ना, फिर हजारों या लाखों में, then it becomes 1,000 into 1,000. तो
जब
फिर वो फटता है, फिर वो रुकता नहीं, फिर वो फटता है. तो वहां पे आप वो एक्सपोनेंशियल ग्रोथ कॉन्सेप्ट ही है. We talk about like a lot of people you'll find talk about exponential growth, but they don't understand what exponential growth is. No, overnight success जो है ना, वो एक हद तक सच है. बहुत सारी सक्सेस ओवरनाइट ही होती है। एक्सपोनेंशियल ग्रोथ यही है ना कि जब तक 1000 था तब तक 1000 घंटे में आपको लग गए 5 साल, लेकिन वो जब 1000 के फिर 10,000 हो रहे हैं ना, वो फिर आपके 1 साल हो गए। दैट इज एक्सपोनेंशियल। वो जर्नी कवर करना बहुत मुश्किल है। तो दैट इज व्हाई पीपल गिव अप इन देयर फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड ईयर एंड दे जस्ट लाइक वी कैन डू दिस एंड दैट्स फेयर टू ईच देयर ओन।
Oh, they are like most of the NGOs are donor-centric models. So we have
Exactly.
to focus a lot on donor. We don't have to focus on a donor. Like
Exactly.
we have to
आप
focus on
रिसर्च कर लो।
yeah.
तो
We
अच्छा,
are very competitive in our delivery. Like no one
मैं
can
एक चीज पूछना चाह रहा था।
better
अगर आप the people that are who are coming to your school, do you not think that they can afford 1,000 rupee fees per month?
they can easily
They can.
like 50% of them can have a like what they earlier they were going to cities, they were paying 1,000 rupees just for the bus.
That's what I'm saying. So if you just double your price sometime down, like not saying right now, तो आपका प्रॉफिट तो फिर मतलब if you earning profit जो आपका 750 का ब्रेक इवन है, वो फिर आपका शायद 200 का ब्रेक इवन हो जाएगा. Like you will be earning from your first 200 to 250 students if you double your
We
fee.
can we can do that, but there would be a segment of a society that that will not come to our schools then, and we want to make it more inclusive. We just do not want hefty profits in the first year, second year.
But your profits can
That's
be used to support those people, right? Who are not able to afford the 1,000.
no one understands in rural areas. If you go, everyone wants to be treated same. So we have very decent model, like pay 500 rupees. You are from any community. If suppose we want to, there are many cases, many students who are just studying for free. So either there's no one to earn in their family, or some mostly we support a lot of girl child and all. Or if you go in some parts of country, people just don't want to like teach them, also like educate them. But we support a lot. And in that sense, like from the door behind, we are supporting such students, but we keep a decent model because it empowers that particular parent or the student to ask questions.
You got it. But I think like I can't wait to look at the growth like in the coming years. I really, really hope that you achieve what you are envisioning. And if I can be of any help in contributing to your success, even with this just podcast episode, like if I'm able to help you reach a good number of people, I will be more than happy for you. Like I will just be so happy that I got to connect with you at such an early stage. And when you become like who you want to become, I would just be so happy to look at like Cograd from the outside. That in this space, it will feel personal. It's still like I've had some fair share of experiences with school and my own personal life. So everything that you're saying is resonating on a very personal level. And I truly, truly hope that education becomes much more affordable for the masses because it's a must. It's a need, it's not a want. And you can't just pick and choose who you want to teach and who you don't want to teach based on money. It could be based on merit, but not on money. And I truly believe in the idea that you're working on. And I think that's it. I don't have any more questions from my end. But yeah, if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. Like, do you have any questions?
So currently, I'm happy to like get your views about this particular idea. And if you talk to anyone, I talk to a lot of people. Everyone wants to contribute back to the society, but
And
they want something very substantial. Like it
Yeah.
should reflect that. And in most of the donations that we are making to save income tax and all, like nobody is getting that particular feeling. While when you are investing in such a model, so that's why we have created an investment-based model. We could have taken the donations,
yeah, 100%.
have hefty amount of donations for the same model, but we are creating amalgamated thing. Like most of the things would be in investment form, so we are more accountable to the people.
Yeah. But are you eligible for CSR?
We are not eligible. I told you that we work in collaboration with government, IT and ITV and some
Don't
NGOs and
sound the technicality.
we execute the project for them. So suppose we can build up a project in which we want to create 500 AI schools. So it is not
Okay.
going to be happen on the money of public. Like, we cannot crowdsource for that particular part. For that, CSR is required. That was the same part we collaborate with NGOs and all. Upgrade the schools.
Got it. But yeah, good luck. Yeah, I just hope that you get the most out of it. Good luck to you and Saurabh. I would love to meet him someday with you. And I think this is a great journey. And I really, really hope the best for you. Want the best for you. And I just like, I don't know how else to put it in words, but I'm really happy for you. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This is it from my end. I really hope that people find great value in this episode and they're able to connect with you like some way. They can find you on LinkedIn and like we can tell you how they like this episode.
Thanks for the invitation, by the way. Thanks for
No worries.
it was
My pleasure.
like great talking to you on this weekend.
Likewise.